righty, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get going. Wham here, 125. Here, 25, and 25, 25, 25, and 5 here, 27, 50, and 27 and 7 and 30. We get 30 and 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 32 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 1, 2, and 32, 33, 33, 33, now 3, and 33, 4, 30, we get 34, 5 here, 35, you get 5 here, 35, 35, and now 635, 6, 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 6, 7, and 37, we get 37, we get 37, we get 37, $8, and 37 of A, 37 of A, 7 of A, 7 of A, 7 of A, we get 37 of A, we get 37 of A, we get 38 here, D, 137, 1X. She's got a brand new baby. 2,000 on the pair, 221, 21, and 21, 21, 21, 2100, 21, and 2100 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 2100 here, going to be 2100, 21, 21, 21, 22, and 23, we get 3, and 23, we get 4, and 24, you get 5, and 25 here, 25, 2600, 25, 600, and 25, going to be 2600, 25, going to be 2600 here, 25, going to be 2600, 25, we get 6, so 2500, Braden Lancaster. Bull time here, $1.55, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, going to be 60, we got 5, and 65, 70, we get 75, 75, 75, 75, give 80, and now 85 there, going to be 85, 85, 85, 90, 195, we get 95, we get 95, 2, and 205, going to be 205, going to be 210, and 210 and 15, going to be 210, we get 15, going to be 20 here, going to be 225, and 225 here, now 30, we get 235, we get 235, we get 40, and now 45, we get 45, we get 45, 50, now 50, now 5, and 55, 60, we get 260, 260, 260, and 55, 60 bid here, going to be 260 here, going to be 260 here, Bo, 255, 9. One short bred, the rest are open, guys, here, 100. 135, and 35, you give out 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 40, and 42 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 1, 2, and 42, 42, 42, 43, 43 and a 4 here, 44 to 5 here, 45, 600, and 46 of a hand, 7 and 7, and 47 of 8, 47 of 8, and 9 here, 40 pound, 9, bit of 9, bit of 9, good of 9, 50, and 51, and 50, 51, 51, 50, 51 here, 51, 51, 51, 51 here, going to be 151 here, Chris, 150 on 20. Ten-year-old cows are all 5 months bred, 120. 125, yeah, 25, and 25, 25, 25, gonna be 125, gonna get 25, gonna be 125, 25, and 30, gonna get 30, 125, gonna get 30, 30, and 35, 35, 35, 40, gonna get 45, gonna get 45, 145, 50, $1, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, jigga 5, 55, jigga 5, 55, jigga 5, 55, jigga 5 here, Chris, 150, 16X. I know one of them 6x4 and 6x3 plus. $1.50. $1.55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 15, have one, 50, 51, 50, 51, 51, 2, 51, 2, 52, 53, 53, 54, 54, 5, 55, 55, 7, 57, 9, good 9, 57, good 9, 57, bit of 9, good 59, 61, and zig 1, zig 3, 53, 5, 65, 67, 67, and zig 5, now 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 9, good to be 169, and now 7, good to be 9, daughter, good to be 9, 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 sold 167, Bailey Denny. One and 2 year olds. You know how many years you've been doing this? You'd think you'd get better. 1 and 2, probably say that about me too. 1 and 2 years old. They're 2 and 4 months bred, correct? There we go. There we go, 2100 and 21, and 21, and 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, and 21, 2, and 22, and 23, we get 34, and 24, 24, 23, we get 24, 5, and 25, 55 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 25, 50, 600, 25 and a half, and 25 and a half, going to be 25 and a half, going to be 25 and a half, going to be 25, 50, and 25 and a half, going to be 25 and a half here, going to be 25 and a half, going to be 25 and a half, going to be 25, going to be half, sold them 2,500, Chris, 11. 5 and 6 year old cows are 4 to 6 months bred cows here, 2,100, 21, and 21, 21, 21, 21, 50, and 21 and a hand, 21 and a hand, 21 and a hand, 21 and a hand, 21, 50, and 21, 1 and a hand, 1 and a hand, 21 and a hand, 21 and a hand, 2, and hand 2, you're going to be 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 3, and 23, 23, 23 and a half here, and 23 and a half, you get 3 and a half, 4, and 24 and a half, you get 4 and a half, you get 4 and a half, 5, and 25, 25 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, going to be 25, 50, and 25 and a half, going to be 25 and a half, going to be 25 and a half, going to be 25 and a half here, but about that here, going to be 25 and a half here, so about 2,500, Chris, 3. Yard them out. Seven-year-old cows are 5 months bred. 1750 and 17 and a half and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, going to be 18 and a half, going to be 19, going to be half, going to be 2,000 and 2 and 21, 21, 21, 21, 21 and a half here, 21, 50 and 2 and 22 and a half here, going to be 22 and a half, going to get 3 and 23 and a half, going to get 23 and a half, 4 here, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24 and 2,400 and 24, 24, 2,400 here, S 23 and a half, 17. 5 and 6 years old. They're 4 and 5 months. 16 and a half. It's 16 and a half here. Half and a half here. Now 17, 17 and a half. 17 and a half. Going to be 18 here. 18. 1800. Bit of 18. Going to be 18. Going to be 18. Bit of 18. Going to be half. 18 and a half. Going to be 19. Bit of 19. Bit of 19. Going to be 19. 50 and a half. Now 2. And 2000. Half 1. 21 and a half. 21 and a half. 21 and a half. Going to be 21. 50. And 21 2. And half 2 and a half. Going to be 2 and a half. Bit of 2 and a half. Bit of 2 and a half. Going to be 23. And 23. 23 and a 3. And 23. Bit of 3. And 23. Bit of 3. Going to be 23. Bit of 3. Going to be 23. Bit of 3. Total 22 and a half. Roy True. 8 and 9-year-old cows are 4 and 5 months. 135, wham, 135, and 35, 35, 37, 7, 7, 7, 37, 7, 7, 37, 50, and 30, 7, going to be 37, 7, 7, 7, 40, 42, and 1, and 41, 2, 43, 3, and 43, 3, and 42, 3, and 43, 3, and 42, 43, 4, and 44, 5, and 45, 60, 45, 46, 7, 47, 8, 47, 8, and 9, 50, another 51. And 50, 51, 50, 51 here, 1 here, 50, 51 here, 1 here. So 150. Cavernous on 5. 7 and 8-year-old cows will weigh them to you. Not a bid, 105, and 100 all going to go, 105, and 105, 105 here, good to be 105 here, good to be 105, 10, good to be 110, now 15, 120, and 122 and a half, 2 and a half, 25, 27 and a half, 27 to 30, and 30, now 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 40, 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 45, now 5, 45 here, Chris, 142 and a half, 15. 15. 4 and 6-year-old cows are 4 and 6 months. Nice cows. Nice animals here, 21. Yeah, 21, and 21, 21, 21, 21 and a half, 21 and a half, going to be 2, 50, now 3, 50, 23 and a half, 24 and a half, 24 and a half, 25, 50, 5 and a half, 6 and a half, now so only 650, and 6, 7, and 7 here, going to be 2,700, and 27 here, now 7 here, now 7, and 27 here, now 7 about 27, and 2,700, 27, 27, and a half, and 7 and a half, 2,750, and now 800 here, 28 and a half here, 8 and a half, 9. And 9, going to be 29, and 9 here, 29.50, and 9, 3, and 3,000, 3,000, 31, and 30, 50, and a half, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, and 3,100 here, going to be 31, 31, 31, 31 here, sold them 3,050, put them on Chris, on 3. Swollen navel, who give $1 a pound? 110, and 110, going to be 120, now 30, now 40, now 50, 150, 60, 70, 170, 170, 170, 170, $160, going to be 170, 70, Ricardo, yeah, 170, and now 70, 70, here's on 160, Terry 9. $135, and 35, you can have 35, 37, 37, 50, and 37, 40, now 42 and a half, 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 5, and 45, 47 and a half, 47, 50, 50, 50, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55 here, Chris, 152 and a half, 10. Sure haven't missed him. 10 years, 3 months, 125. 25 and 25, 27, going to be 30, 2 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, 40, 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, and 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, and 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half here, S, 155, 17. 90 in that one deal altogether.
Yeah, there's like an 80 and a 90 and a 40 and a 20, 85 or 30. All right there. That's 4 on it. Sell some wild bulls here. Sell some odds.
Way the bull here, $1.55, and 55, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 57, 57, going to be 60, now 5, and 65, 70, now 71, 70, 170, 171, 71, 71, 70, 65, 70 down, 70 down, 70 down, 70 here, now 75, and 75, 80 here, 80, you give 80 there, going to be 180 here, so 175, bow 9. No, it would be. $2, 2.5, and 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, we get 2.5, and 2.5, we're going to be 2.50, and 2.5, we get 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, giving bull $2. Lots of bulls. Must be in a drought. Huh? She is large. $1.55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55 there, 55, 55, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 57, going to be 60, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, 2.5, and 60, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5 here, bit about 2.5 here, given 160 on one, 160 given one. Mr. High Council for 160. Eight-year-old, 135, and 35, 35, 37, 42, 42, 45, 47, 7, 7, 47, 7, 50, 50, 52, 250, and 52, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 57, 7, 60, and 60, 2, 5, and 65, and 65, now 5, 5, and 5 here, Chris, 162 and a half, 10. $135, and 35, 37, 7, 7, 37, 7, 7, 37, 40, 40, 2.5, we get 2.5, 5, and 45, we get 47, 47, 47, 50, and 50, 50, 50, we get 50, we get 50, 50, 50, we get 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 52 and a half, 2.5, 52 and a half, and 50, 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, cabinets 150. Eight by 5. Make sure you like her back. 125 and 125 and 27 and 27 and going to be 30 and 2.5, 35, 37 and 45, 2.5, 42 and a half, we get 2.5, 5 and 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, you get 5 here, 45 here, 45 here, cabinets 142 and a half, 5. Six years, she's 3 months bred, 1,500. 15 and a half, going to be 16, going to be half, going to be 17, going to be half, going to be 18, going to be 50, going to be 18 and a half, and 19, 50, 19 and a half, 2,000, and 21, and 21, 21, 21, 2100, 21, 21, 21, and 2100, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 2, 21, 2, 21, 2, Bailey Denny, 2100. 135 and 35. You go out 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 40 and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 45, 45, 45, and 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 50 and a half, 50, 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, jigga 5 and 55 and 5, 50 down 5, 50 down 5, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, S 152 and a half, 2. Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday, Friday. 9 years. She's 4 months bred. 120. 125, 25 and 27 and a half, 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, going to be 40, 40, 40 and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 45 and 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50 and a half, 50 and a half, 50 and a half, 50, 150 and now 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, sold 155. Put him on number 44, Caleb. Seabold's starting to look alike. Seabold's. $0.50 a pound. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 60, 5, group 70, 5, group 80, now 5, group 85, and 95, and $95, $1, group 105, group 10, group 110, 15, group 115, 20, and now 25, group 125, and 30, 30, 30, 125, 30, now 5, and 35, 35, 40, 40, 40, now 40, 35, 40, 45, $1, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, here, Chris, 140, 15. 10 cents a pound, 10.20, and 10.20, and 10.20, 30, 30, now 30, now 40, 40, 40, now 40, 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, 40, now 45, 45, 45, 50, and now 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and now 65, 65, 65, 65, 70, 75, 75, 75, 75, here, 75, here, 75, and 75 cents a pound, 75, here, 75, 75, 75, 75, S, 70 cents a pound, 1X. 2 years, she's 4 months bred. Look at here, 2,100 and 21, 25, and 21, 21, 21, 21, 21 and a half, 21 and a half, 21 and a half, group of 2, 50 and 2 and a half, 23, 23 and a half, 23 and a half, 24, 24 and a half, 24 and a half, and 24 and a half, 4 and a half, 5, and 25 and a half here, 25 and a half, 25 and a half, group of 25 and a half, group of 25 and a half, group of 25, 50, and 25 and a half, 5 and a half, 6, and 25 and a half, group of 26 and a half, and 6 and a half, 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 26 and a half, 7, and 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 800, and 28 and a half here, 8 and a half, 9, and 25, 29 and 9, 29.50, and 9 and a half, group of 29 and a half, group of 20, 9 and a half, group of 20, 9 and a half here done, 2,945, put them done, 45. How old is this cow? 8-year-old, 120. 125, 25, and 25, 25, 25, and 5 here, 25 here, 25, 30, 30, and 25, 25, 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 32 and a half, 2 and a half, group of 2 and a half, 32 and a half, 35, and 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 40, 40, 40, 40, 140, and a half, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, going to be 40, 40 here, cabinet 137.50. $125 and $125, $25, $105, and $105, $105, $105, $105, and 10, 110, 15, 20, now 122 and a half, 2 and a half, and 20, 2 and a half, 22 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 25, 27 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 27 and a half, here's on 125, cabinets. 125, hit 25, and 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 32 and a half, 32 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37, 50, and 40 and a half, 40 and a 40, 40 and a 40, another 40, we get 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 40 and a half, 40, we get 40 here, Chris, 37 and a half, 15. Kind of a blue eye. Daughter 5, and 105 here. Good to be 105, we get 5, 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 and 10. Good to be 110, 15, 25, and 20 to 30, we get 30 and a half, 30, and half, 32 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37, 40, and half, 40, 40, we get 40, we get 40, 100 to 40, 100 to 40, 142 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 42, 50, and 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, we get 45 D, 140, 2 and a half, 1X. Six-year hold here, 155, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and 55, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60, yes, 155, a little bit, 21. You need to make your decision a little bit quicker, just a little bit quicker. 1,000 cows, let's roll. What was it? 8 by 4. 8 years, 4 months, 155, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 35, and 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47, 50, and 47 and 50, and 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57, 50, and 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half here, Chris, 155, 20. 9-year-old, 3 months bred, 135, and 35, and 30. These Mexicans are worried, aren't they? 135, and 35. He's thinking about supper tonight, weren't they? 135, and 35, and 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 37, 50, 40, and half, 40, 40, 40, we get 40, we get 40, and 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 42, 55, and 45, 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 50 and a half, 50 and a half, 52 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 52 and a half, Doug, you're out, 52 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, Caleb, 155, 44. Yep. 6-year-old cow, she's 4 months bred, daughter of 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 40, and half, 40, we get 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 42, 50, and 40, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 50 and a half, 50 and a half, 50, and daughter 53, we get 50, we get 52 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, we get 62 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 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 sold 165, Bailey Denny. Getting here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 57, going to be 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, we get 70, now 70, 170, we get 70, we get 70, going to be 70, we get 70, we get 70, we get 70 here at Cavadas, 167.50. $55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 35, 40, and 35, 40, we get 35, 40, we get 35, 40, 10, 35, 40, and 40, and 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, and now 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half here, so 155, Cavadas Bull. Here's your brother, 35, and 35, and 37.50, and 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 52 and a half, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 60, and a half, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 7 and a half, 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 70, and 70, 170, 170, 250, 5, and 75, 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, 75 here, canvas bull, 172 and a half. One 85 there. You're going to be 87 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 99, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 95, 95, 95, 97 and 97 going to be 2 and a half, going to be 2 now 2 now 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 1 3 and half 3 big 3 and 5 205 203 5 and 3 and 5 here and 7 here and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 5 here 7 and 7 here and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 here. You're going to be 7 and 7 here. You're going to be 7 big 7 now 7 here sold 205. Doug 7. Hey, look, he already made it across, didn't he? He got here fast. Has he got to be TB tested before he leaves this place? I bet that's the rules. $1.50. $1.55 and 55 and 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 55 35 and 35 here 35 37 and 37 and do what? I think they're going to be TB tested. He'll be here for about 3 to 5 days.
He's in the ring. You guys ready to the shoot?
He's had several owners, hasn't he?
99.83. They can be killed right now, right?
Has he got any worms?
Let him out. We'll sell him. We'll figure it out and let's sell him in a little bit.
Let's just sell them with a if. Okay, let's just sell them and then we'll figure it out at the end of the sale.
I think he's slaughter only.
Dollar bid, 105. $5 and 105, 110 here, going to be 110, 15, 115, now 15, 115, 15, 20, and 121, 21, 21, 21, 21, 20 here, going to be 120, and 5, and 125, going to be 125, going to be 125 here, 25, 25, 25, 30, going to get 30, 135, and 35, 35, 35, 40, going to get 40, 145, going to get 45, 45, 50, and 50, 150, going to get 50, 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 going to get 50 here, DM, 145, 0. 4 and 5 year olds. Thank you. Rather 155, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55, and 55, 60, and 55, 60, 60, 60, 60, $1.55, 63, 5, 60, 160, 60, 160, 160. Who bid? 160? 5, 70, 170, 170. And now 70, we get 70, we get 70, we get 70, we get 70 here, Bo. 165, 5.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. He got a big M brand on it.
125, yeah, 25, and 25, 27, 50, and 27, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, Brad, 127, 50, and 27, 50, and 27, 30, 30, and 30, we get 30, good to be 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 32 and a half, we get 2 and a half, what about 1, 31, and 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, we get 31, we get 31, 31, 30, 30, down 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, given 130. One and twos, rope on here, right there, here, 250 pound, 255, and 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, here, going to be 255, and 55, 60, and 260 pound, going to be 260, we get 260, we get 260, we get 255, 265, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 70, we get 275, going to be 275, now 75, and 75, 80 here, 80, give 80 here, 80, give 80 here, 80, here, 80, and 280, we get 280, we get 280 here, Bo, 275. 1. Manny, where you been? Why?
I work still on.
I love working. I never have money. 8, 9-year-old, 3 and 4 months bred. 120, 125, and 20. Do what? 2 months. 2 and 3 months. 2 months. 2 and 2 plus. There you go. 125, yeah, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 125, 125, 30, and 25, 30, and 25, 30, 125, we get 30, 30, 125, we get 30, we get 30, 135, 35, 35, 40, we get 40, 140, 140, 145, 145, 50, and 50, we get 55, 55, 55, 60, another 55, 60 there, 55, we get 60 here, Chris, 155 on 55. Old Mama's here, daughter be at 105, and 105 here, good to be 105, we get 5, 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 105, 105 here, good to be 105, 10, good to be 110, 110, 110, and 10 here, a lot of 10, and dollar 5, we get 10, good to be 10, good to be 10, 15, good to be 110, 15, good to be 10, 1250, 15, 15, 7, hit it a hand, 7, hit it a hand, 7, hit it a hand, 20, and dollar 20 pound, good to be 20 hand, 20 there, good to be 120, good to be 20, good to be 20 hand, 2 and a hand, and 22, 50, and 20 that 2 and a hand, 20, we get 2 and a hand, good to be 20, we get 2 and a half here, cabinets, 120 on nothing. 120, yeah. Six-year-old, 5 and 6, 5 to 7.
2 to 5 months.
2 to 5 months. I'm going to weigh him to you. 135, and 35, and 35, you give out 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 42 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50, and a half, 52 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, you get 60, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and 70, 170, get your man, 170, 170, 102 and a half, and 75, and 75, 75, 75, 81, 81, 70, 85, 85, 85, and 91, 95, and 95, you get 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 95, going to be 195, now 2, and 2, going to be 2 and a half here, going to be 2, 2 and a half, 5, and 2 and a 5, going to get 7 and a half, 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 7 and a half here, so about 205, Chris, 3, 205.
8 to 10, 3 to 5 months.
8 to 10-year-old cows, they are short,
3 to 5.
3 to 5 months bred, 150.
Several of these.
155 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 62 and a half, 5, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, and half, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72, 55, and 75, 75, 50, and 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 77 and a half here, and a half here, going to be 77 and a half here, 77 and a half here, Caleb, 175, 44. Spread out during the sale.
Well, that's a break house, and they want the break sorted.
8 to 10, 0 punt here, 35. And 35, you go 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and 40, and 40 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, and 45, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 50 and a half, 50, 150, and 50, 50, 50, 50, 52 and a half, 51, 50, 58, 9, 51, 51, 50, 51, 51, 51, 51, 51, 2, 3, 53, 53, and 4, and 53, 4, 5, and 55, you go 55, 55, 655, 56, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 57, 57, 9, go to 9, go to 60, and 61. And -1, has -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, -1 here, Chris, 160 on 20. Shortbred, they're old cows, 3 months bred. 135, 135, and 35, and 37, and 7, and 37, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 37, and 37, 50, and 37, and 37, and 40, and 2, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 750, and 47, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 50, and 50, and 50, $1, 50, 30, 50, 50, 50, 150, and 50, 52, and a half, 52, and a half, 52, and a half, and 2, and a half, 52, and a half, 52, and a half, going to be 2 and a half here, Kevin, that's 150. We can hear 45, and 45, 45, 47, and 7, and 7, and 47, and 7, and 7, and 47, and 50, and 52, and 52, and 55, 55, 55, 7, and 57, and 57, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 60, and 62, and 2, and 5, and 65, and 5 here, 7 and a half, and 67, 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and S, 165, 2. Wow, 5,000. 5,000, 5, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5, 4, and 41, and 41, and 41, 41, 4100 here, 4100 here, 41, 2, and 41, 2, and 41, 2, 41, 2, 41, 2, 3, 4, 44, 43, 4, and 44, 5, and 4,500 here, 4,600, and 45, 4,600 here, 45, 4,600 here, 45, 6, 7, and 47, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 46, 7, and 47, 47, 47, and 40, 700, 4,700, 4,700, Chris, 4,600, 8. All right, guys, we're going to be working on this day, 3 days up here to Orlando. Be about 80 or 90 some of these cows all together, I believe. 8 to 10-year-old cows, 3 to 5 months.
No, it's on the hit.
Oh, you're talking about the deal. Oh, guys, 8 to 10 years old, they're short bred right there. 3, 4, 5 months bred.
We need to do something different.
I'm going to weigh them too, guys, 135.
We'll figure it out after the sale.
There's 19 here.
All right, bye.
Yep. 135, and 35, and 35, you got 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, get you several of these cows, guys, get today, 135, 750, 40, 2 and a half, and 42 and a half, 5, and 45, and 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 50 and a half, 50 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52, 50, and 51, and 50, 51, and 50, 51, here, 51, 51, 51, 51, 51, who are we going to sell them to? 151, and 2, and 51, 2, 53, 53, 53, 54, and 5, you get 55, that's a cutter, and 57, 57, 57, 50, 59, go to 9, 60, and 61, and now 2, go to 3, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, now 9, now 70, and now 2 and a half, 5, and 77 and a half, 81, 80, now 2 and a half, 82 and a half, 5, 85, 87 and a half, go to be 87 and a half, go to be 190, and now 90, you get a rain, 190, and now 90, go to be 90, go to be 90, 90 here, go to be 190, go to be 90, go to be 90 here, go to be 90 here, so to 180, 750, but one Caleb. 44.
Same deal, just a little bigger.
Same deal, a notch bigger. 8 to 10 years old.
Yep.
2 to 5 months bred.
Yep.
Working on the day, cattle guys. Day, Mr. Day up here to Orlando. 155, 55, wham to you, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 50, and 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 55, 57 and a half, 55 here, 55, 55 and a half, and 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 57, 50, and 57 and a half, 7 and 60, and half 60, we get 60, we get 60, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, and 65, and now 5, and 65 here, now 65, 65, 65, 65, 5 here, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, now 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, D, 162 and a half, 4. Here's the open cows. I see 1 or 2 of them maybe a little bit soft-footed, a little bit crippled. They're going to go, guys. They're all going to go. 135 and 35. You got 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37, 50, and 37 and a half, 37, 40, and 42 and a half, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, and 2 and a half, 45, 600, and 45, 6, 7, and 47, and 7, 7, 7, 8, 47, 7, 7, 8, and 9, here, group 9, 50, 10, 50, 150, 151, and 50, 51, 51, 2, 1, 2, 3, 53, 53, 53, 4, and 54 here, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 5 here, 55, and 55, 5, now 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, jig 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, Chris, 154 on 21, 154.
Three little fat horn cows, John. 6-year-old.
Hey. 125, 25, and 27 and a half, and 27 and a half, going to be 32 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, going to be 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 45, jig 5, and 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, and half 40, 47, 50, and 47 and a half, 50, and half 50, 50, 50, now 50, now 50, now 50, now 50 here, going to be 150, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50 here, so 147 and a half, but I want to S. 21. My bad, Antone. As much money as he made selling show pigs, he can afford a little cow feed.
There's a shortbread crippled on there. They all go.
There's one shortbread crippled on here. She'll be there. Thank you, Mr. Day. All going to go 125, and 25, and 27 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 7, 50, 30, and 32 and a half, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, and 32 and a half, 35, 35, 35, 33, 5, and 33, 5, 35, 4, 5, and 35 here, 35, 35, 37, 35, 600, and 35, going to be 600, 36, 7, and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 37, 8, 37, 8, 37, 8, and 37, 8, 30, 37, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, D, 137. 1X.
Have a steering the bull for him later, but that's all I'll do. About 45 of these Burns cows.
Be about 45 in this consignment, guys. The Susie Burns cows.
Sellout deal, John.
Be a sellout.
Sell on the next 2 days.
1 and 2 year olds. They're 3 and 4 months bred. 15 and a half. 15 and a half, and a half here, half and a half here, going to be 16, half 17, 18, 19, 2, 1, and 22, 22, 22, 21, 50, and 21 and a half, 21 and a half, 21, 50, and 21 and a half here, half and a half here, going to be 21 and a half, and 21 and a half, going to be 21 and a half, 2, and 21 and a half, 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 going to be 21, 50, and 21 and a half, going to be 21 and a half here, and Tone, 20, 100. Me too.
They're young, 3 and
3 and 4 year old or 3 months bred, 17 and a half, and 1750, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, go to 18, now half, now 19, now half, now 2001, and 21, 21, 22, 21 and a half, now 2, now half, and 22 and a half, 3, and 23, 23, 23, 3, and 23, and 23, 3, and 23, 3, going to be 23 now, 23, 3, and 23, 3, going to be 23, 3, going to be 23, 3, going to be 23, 3, 23, 3, sold 22 and a half, put them on Bailey Denny, 3. Nine and 10 year old cows are 3 and 4 months bred. 155 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 45, 47, 50, and 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 50, and 50, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 52, 50, and 52 and a half, 52 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, here S, 150. 17. Huh? Oh, dadgummit. He about got some. Sure hadn't missed him. Here's a 10-year-old cows from 4 or 5 months. Bags are just okay, so. Well, they'll go. 135 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, and 35 and 37 and a half, 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 42 and a half, 45 and 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 50 and a half, 50 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52, 55 and 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 60 and a half, 60 and 57 and a half, going to be 60 and 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, going to get 2 and a half, 5 and 65 and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70 and a half, 70, 70, even get 70, even get 70, even get 70, even get 70 here and half, 70 and half, 70 here, sort of 167 and a half, done 44. No. 9 and 10 year old, or 6 and 7 months. $55 and 55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, going to be 60, going to get down 62 and a half, 5 and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 170, 170, going to get 70 now, 70, 170, and 70, 70, 70, going to get 70, going to get 70, going to be 70, going to get 70, going to get 70, Chris, 67 and a half, 16. $3. $3, now 5, and 3 to 5, even get 3, and 300, even get 3, and 300, even get 3, and 300, even get 3, 275, 80, and 75, 80, 75, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, here, 85, 90, even get 295, and 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 3, and 95, even get 3, and 95, even get 3, 95, even get 395, even get 3, and 95, even get 3, bow, 295, 1. on the phone. Ones and twos, one shortbread should be there, guys. All good to go. $1.50 a pound. She's not shortbread. She's got adhesions. $1 a pound. They're all going to go. $1.10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $1.70, $1.80, 90, $2, 2.10, 2.20, 2.30. Bo, 221. Threes and fours are open. 135. 135, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 37, and 37, and 40, and 5, 45, 59, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 65, and 65, 65, 65, 70, 175, and 75, 75, 75, 75, 80, 85, 85, 80, 90, 95, 95, 95, and 95, 195, 95, 195, 92, and 2, going to be 2, 195, going to be 195, going to be 2. 95, Bailey Denny, 195, put him on number 3. Sell the 2 blacks off. Gotcha. Yard them out. What if somebody else wanted them? Six to 10, they're open here. 35, and 35. You go out 35, 35, 35, 37 and 37 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7, 50, and 30, 7 to 40, and 40, and 40, and 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, and got you 40, and 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, and 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, and 45 here, 45, 47 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 47, 50, and 40, 7 and a half, going to be 47 and a half, going to be 40 now, 47 and a half here. Chris, 145, 20. Four alley. We had 500 when we started.
White cow. Yeah.
145, and 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 52 and a half, 955, and 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 60, and hand 2 and a half, 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 yes, 160 on 2. $3 years old. She's 4 months. What a cow. 2,500 and 25 and 25 and 25, 25, 50 and 25 and 25 and going to be 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 27, going to be 9, 9, 3,000 now 1 and 32, 32, 32, 32, 32, 31, 2, 31, 2 and 32, 1, 2, 1, 2, 32 and 32, 32, 31, 2, 1, going to be 2, you get 2, 10, 2, 3 and 33, 33, 33, 3 and 33, 4, 33, 4, 33, 4 and 34 here, 34, 34, 34, 34, 34, 34, Chris, 3,300 on 3.
Best cow in the whole deal, 5x7.
5-year-olds, 7 months bred, 3,100 and 31 and 31 and 31 and 30, 31 here, 1 here, 1 and 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 31 and 30 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, going to be 3,100 and 3,100 here, 1 here, 1 here, Chris 3,000. Six-year-old cow, she's 4 months. 17 and a half, 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 1750, 17 and a half, here, going to be 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 1750, 17 and a half, 1750, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, what about 15 and a half, 15 and a half, 15 and a half, and now 1,600, now half, and now 17, we get 17, we get 17, going to be 17, we get 1750, 17 and a half, going to be 18 here, 18 and a half, going to be 18, 50, 19, and 19, going to be 19, we get 19, we get 19, we get 19, Bailey, 1850 on 3.
8 months, 10-year-old.
10-year-old cow. She's 8 months bred. She's got one big old spigot. 135 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, and now 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50 and a half, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, and 47, 2 and a half, and 52 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, and 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, here, Chris, 155, 16. One-year-old, she's 4 months red. $2 a bit, 210. 210.20 and 210.20, we get 210.20 here, a bit of a 210.20 there, going to be 210.20, 30 and 230, 40, we get 240, we get 250, we get 260, we get 270, we get 270, we get 270 and 270 pound, going to be 270, we get 270, we get 270, Bailey Denny, 260. Put him on number 3.
Was that your 6th one? Yeah. So that's all of those, John.
Thank you to the Burns consignment.
They're going to send you mail. And we'll get back on that in a little bit.
55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57, 50, 60, and now 60, we get 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, we get 70, we get 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72, 50, and 70, we get 2 and a half, going to be 70, we get 2 and a half, 70 now, 2 and a half here, S, 170 on 5. $55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 57, 7, 7, 7, 7, 57, 50, and now 60, now 60, we get 60, we get 60, we get 60, and now 1, and we get 1, 2, 2, 3, we get 3, and 3, we get 3, now 4, here, 64, and 3, now 4, here, 5, 4, here, 4, there, we get the boards, get 3, now 4, here, 4, here, that's 163, 2. Young and bred. 6x6 and a 5x6, 2100 and 21, and 21 and 21, 21, 2100 here, 1 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, and 20 here, 21 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1, and 2100 here, sell the black cow, 21, 2100 and 21, and 21, 21, 21, 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, 2200 and 22 and 23 and 23 4 and 24 5 here, 25 600 and 26 7 and 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 26 7 and 6 7 and 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 2700 here, 27 and 7 here, done. 2600 on the black cow, put on number 45. Bring the gray one back. Five-year-old, 6 months bred. Make sure you lock your bag, guys, right there. 135 and 35 40 and 35 40 we get 35 40 40 140 140 140 140 and 35 40 we get 40 we get 42 and a half 92 and a half 42 and a half 5 and 45 45 45 45 45 45 45 and 45 we get 5 45 47 and a half 47 and a half 50 and 2 and a half we get 2 and a half 52 and a half we get 2 and a half we get 2 and a half we get 2 and a half 2 and a half sold 150. Ricardo. This guy looks like one of my customers from over east. Looks like one of my customers from over east. 7 and 8 year olds, 6 and 7 months bred. 155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 50, and 57 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 57, 50, and 57 and a half, 57 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 57, 50, and 57 and a half, 57 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 60 now, 60 now, 2 and a half, 65, and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 750, and 67, 7 and a half, 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 sold 165. Chris. 55. Might try Jones on Thursday night. Nine and 10 years old. 7 months bred. Heavy red cows, guys, 6 and 7 months. 135 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40, 135, 40, and 35, 40, 35, 40, 40, 40, 45, 40, 40, heavy red here, 40, and 45, 40, 135, 40, and 35, 40, 40, 45, 45, 45, 50, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 160, 160, and 55, 60, 55, 60, 55, 60, 55, 60, here, Ricardo, 155 on 2. Eight by 2 and 10 and open. 135 and 35, 35, 35, 37 and 7 and 7 and 37, 50 and 30, 7 40 and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 50 and $50, 50, 150 and a half, 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 and 55, 5 here, 5, 5, 5, 5 here, D, 52 and a half, 2. 125, 25, and 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, now 30, and now 30, 32 and a half, 32 and a half, 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 37, 50, and 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37 and a half, 40, and half, 40, 40, 45, 1, and 40 here, 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, 2, and 41, 2, 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, and 43, and 43, and 4, and 44, and 4 here, 4 here, 5, and 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 5, and 45, 5 here, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 here, Chris, 144 on 20. At 25, some of these Ron North cows, and he from out there at Elk City area. 5 and 6 year old cows. 5 to 7 months bred, 2100. 21 and 2100 here, 1 here, 21, 21, 21, 21, 2100 here, 1 here, 1 half, and 2150, and 21 and a half here, and 1 and a half, 1 and a half, 2, and now 22 and a half, you get 22 and a half, 23, 23, 23 and a half, 23 and a half, you get 50, now 4, and 24, 24, and 2400 here, 23 and a half, you get 4, 23 and a half, you get 4, 23 and a half, 4, and 2400 here, 4 here, 4 there, you get 4, 24, you get 4 here, 4 there, you get 4, so 23 and a half, Chris 3. Seven by 5 and 6 by 2. 7 by 5 and 6 by 5. There we go. We're getting it right. We're getting better. 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 1750, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 18, 18 and a half, going to be 18 and a half, going to be 19, going to be half here now, 1950, and 19 and a half, going to be 19 and a half, going to be 19 and a half, going to be 19 and a half here, sort of a 1900. What's the name? Ints? E-N-T-Z? E-N-S-E. Ints. E-N-S-E. Ins. 10 by 5 and 8 by 7, 16 and a half, 1650, yes, 16 and a half, 17, and 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, going to be 17, 17, 1700, and 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, 17, going to be 17, 17 and a half, and 17 and a half, 17 and a half, but with 18, 1800, 18, but with 18, 18, 18, 18 here at 17 and a half, 7. Did you get any rain? Did you get any rain this week?
I don't know. I know that morning there's a lot different. It feels better. I'm going to change.
9, 10-year-old cows are 5 and 6 months bred, 2100. 21, yeah, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21 here, 21 here, 21, and 2100 and a half, and 21 and a half, 21 and a half, 21 and a half here, 1 and a half here, 1 and a half, going to be 2150, and 21 and a half here, now 2, and 22, and 22, 22, 22, 22, now 2, and 22, we get 2 and a half, and 22 and a half, we get 2 and a half, going to be 22 and a half, we get 22 and a half, but over that here, going to be 22 and a half here, Chris, 2200, 16. That stuff.
I went north to Livestock and Okeen in that area.
135, 35, you give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 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 and 40, and 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 here, 40, and 40, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 45, and 45, 45, 45, 7, and 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47, 50, and 45, 50, 45, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50 and a half, 50 day, 149, 2. These are open. 125, hit 25, and 25, 25, 27 to hand, 7 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 to hand, 750, and 20, now 7 to hand, 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 30 to hand, 3 to hand, 32 and 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 37 to hand, 7 to hand, 40 and 40, and 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 42, 50, and 40, 2 and a half, going to be 40 and 2 and a half, and 42, 50, and 40, 2 and a half, going to be 40 and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, Chris, 140, 22.
That's all of that deal, John.
Thank you, Mr. North.
About 80 of these bow tie cows.
About 80 something of this consignment, guys. Here's the bow ties.
The older cows.
Older cows are shortbred, 130. 132 and a half, and 30, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 32, 50, and 32 and a half, 2 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 and a half, going to be 30, and 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 37 and a half, 7 and 40, and 40, and 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47, 50, and 40, 7 and a half, 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 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half here, Chris, 145, 16X, yard them out.
Yeah.
Bad crippled.
Just tell them to pin them off and I'll come help you.
Crippled.
Just the bigger end of them, John.
Here's some more. Older cows are shortbred. All right, guys, get them all. 2 and 3 months bred. 35, and 35, you give out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 50, and half, 40, you get 2 and a half, 42 and a half, you get 2 and a half, you get 2 and a half, 41, and 40, 41, 41, 2, 41, 2, 3, and 43, you get 3, 43, you get 3, 43, you get 4, 43, you get 4, 5, and 45, 45, 46, and 45, 46, 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7 of 8, 47 of 8, 47 of 8, group of 9, group of 9, group of 9, group of 9, now 50.
It's like a 20 or 21 cows, something like that.
Brad's in at 149, going to be 150. Now 1. Now 2. Now 3. 54. 55. 55. Anybody else? 155. 6. 7. Sold 156. Chris, 16X. 20 something. 20-ish. Chris, 16X.
There's 20.
I got her.
Is it polite to use fingers? And then this will be all pretty cards. Clay carded them. He does it different than I did. There'll be about 20. I'm not sure what it's all, but
But these 11 are coming by themselves, right?
yeah. Be the open thin cows, John.
Here comes the opens. Who is bow tie?
I don't know. I don't even know where they're from. I forgot. 11 of them. They all go.
11 of them, they're all going to go 122 and a half. And 20, you're going to get 2 and a half. You're going to be 22 and a half, 2 and a half, 250. And 25, 25, 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 50. And 20, you're going to get 7 and a half. You're going to be 27 and 30. And 30, get 31. And 32, 32, 32, 33, 33 to 4, 34, 34 to 4 here, 34, 5. And 35 to 600. And 35, you're going to be 600. You're going to get 35. You're going to be 600. You're going to get 35. You're going to be 6. Sold 135. Cavadis, 135.
So are these going to be a split though, or are they going to be?
Yeah. Sometimes count them in, but they all selling in one whack. There's 41 total, right?
Yeah, I thought I got 22 right here.
We'll count them out again.
41.
41.
All right, guys, you're going to be bidding on 41.
Okay, this is going to be a
Split draft.
of 41. I believe I have 22. Give me a bid head count on here, please.
One load.
One pot load of cows. Where's Oliver? Where's Oliver? Feeding cows, guys. Where's Oliver feeding cows?
21.
21. Thank you.
Head, John.
I got 20.
125, 25, and 25, 25, 27 and a half, and 25, 7 and a half, 39, 39, 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7, 6, 7, and 37, 37 of 8, 37 of 8, group of 9, 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 39, 39, 38, 9, and 39, 39, 40, and 40, 40, 40, 1 here, 41, 41, 41 here, 41, 2, 42, 3, 43, 4, 5, and 45, 600, and 46, 7, and 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8 here, 47, 8, 9, and 9, group 9, group 9, group 9, 49, and 9 here, group 9, 49, group 9, 49, and 9 here, group 9, group 9, group 9, group 9, group 9, sold 148, Chris, 23.
Chris, 23.
We better see if they're ready for yard outs. Get that stuff cleaned up. Hold on.
Okay.
Who's in the office today? Is Paul in there?
Yeah. Yes.
Come back to full time.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys have your yard outs ready? Okay, can we just get them?
She's got a big old foot.
Sell it for the hour. He don't have to stay.
You sure?
Yeah, sell it.
I think she needs to be sold for the owner. She's got a horrible foot. Daughter 5, 105, 105, and 105, going to be 10, 15, 120, 125, 125, 30, we get 30, 130, 130, now 32 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 750, and 37 of we get 37 of we get 37 of going to be 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, going to be 37 and a half here, sold 135, but one cabinet's 5.
145.
135,
What's this one? I need this is another.
Off Skinner's, crippled cow, 6 by 5. 135, and 35, you give out 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 55, 50, you give 2 and a half, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 57, 50, and 57, 7 and a half, 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 D, 155, 2. Antonio wants him. Mr. Rodeo. Growing out your beard.
What?
Growing out your beard.
Yeah.
Are you? Hell yeah. Get on board, man. What's up, you are?
It would take me 10 years to look like that.
I wouldn't. Couple months. Antone. Put him back on. Okay.
Hey. Okay, they're gonna put these back on.
I like this one better. I like this one better than the other one. They're good. They're pretty good. There's two heads, Olivia.
She just.
Yeah, but I'm taking it out because he's not.
Oh, okay.
No, you can run.
Oh, they should be coming any minute. Hold on. Wait there, Sultan. Sultan,
All
Sultan.
them cows you weighed up 2,100 to 23 and a quarter.
65, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 7, 7, 70, 70, and 2.5, 75, 75, 50, and 77 of 80, and 2.5, 5, 87, group 87 of 90, and 92 and a half, 2.5, 5, and 95, 97 and a half, 97, group 2, down 2, and down 2, group 2, down 2, group 2, Doug, 190, 7 and a half, 7. 135, 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37, 50, and half 40, and half 40, 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, and 45 here, 45, 45, 43, 45, 43, 45, 47, and 47 here, going to be 7, going to be 7, going to be 7, going to be 7 here, so 145D, 1X. Okay, Troy, you used your half for the day. You used your half for the day. You're won't even do that anymore. You ought to see Tuesdays. Tens. 10 a roll. No matter what. 10 a roll. Ten a lick. See anything, Antone?
Yeah, they're working on it.
Are they?
Yeah, they coming. They got some ripples. They're about to sort it right here. Ripple thing.
Both gonna go, not a bid, 105, and 105 here, good to 105, and 5, and 5, and 5, and 5, and 5, and 10, good to 110, 15, 20, and 25, 25, 25, 25, and 30, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, and 35, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, and 35, and 35, and 35 here, Cabinets, 130, X.
Having a six. They didn't have mail for this, did they?
Did you guys got mail for this? No, they don't.
Okay, just checking.
7 years old here, 125. Here, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, and 5 here, 25 here, 5 here, 21, and 21, 21, 21 here, 20, 1, and 20, 21 here, 20, dollar bid, 105, and dollar 5, 19, going to be 110, 15, 20, and 21, 21, 21, 21, Antonio out, 125, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 30, and 35, 35, 35, 30, 5, 30, 5 here, Antone, 130. 10 years old. She's 3 months bred. 135 and 35. You go out 35, 35, 35, 35, and 35 and 5 here. 5, 5 here. 35 and 35 here. 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 30, 30, and 1 and 30, 31 here. 1 here. 1, 2, 3 and 33, 33, 33, 33, 33. Dug out 3 and 2, 3, 4 and 34, 5 and 35, 5 and 3600 and 36, 7, 7, 7, 37, 9, group 9, 30 here. Group 9. Group 9 here, Chris, 138, 16X. 121 and 21 and 21, 21, 21, 21, 2 and a half, 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 30 and a half, 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 35 and 35, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 37, 50 and 30, 7 and a half, going to be 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 40 and a half, 42 and a half, 2 and a half, 5 and 45, 50 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, $1.60 here, 5, 60, 5, 60 here, Bo, 155 on 5. 10 years, she's 7 months. Long toes. Daughter 105 and 105 here. Good 105, 5, 10 here. Good 110, 15, 20 and 25 here. 25, 30, 35 here. 35, 35, 35, 40, 5, 45, 50, $1, 50, 50, 55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 2 and a half and 52 and a half. 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half. Sold 150S. 7. $2, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, 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 250, and 2 and a half, 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 2 and a half here, Gibbon Bull. $2. Steer. Daughter 105 and 105 here. Good to 105, 5, 5 and 10. Good to be 15, 20 and now 5, 25, 25, 30, 30 and 5 here. 35, 35, 40. Daughter 40, 45, 45, 45, 45 and 45, 5, 45, 45, 50, 10, 50, 45, 50, 45, 50, 50, 50, 50, 45, 50, 45, 50 here. Canvas 145X. $135 and 35. You get 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35. You get 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35 and 30, 35 here, 20 and 125. 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 125, 125, 120 and 120. Going to be 120. Going to be 120. Going to be $120 a pound. 75 cents a pound. 50, 60. You're out. 60, 70. 70. You be trying to find somebody? Would you give 65? 60 bucks. Ricardo 2. 10-year-old cow, daughter, 105, 105, and 105 here. Good to 105, 5 here, 5 here. Here's 50, not 5, and 55, 60, 5, 75, 80, 5, 90, 95, $90. A dollar be $1 here, $1 here, $1 here. Sold her 95. Cabinet's nothing. $2.
He brig board that.
8 no bun, daughter, 105. Daughter 5, big 5, big 5, and 10, good with 10 and 15, 120, 125, 125, 30, big 30, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 40, big 45, 45, 50. Daughter 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here. How's on 150, Chris, 15. $0.60 a pound. 65. As a good 5. Hands a good 5. And a 5 here. 5 here. 5 here. Half high 70. And 75. And 75. 75. 80 here. 85. 85. 85. 85. 85. 90. 95. And $95. $1.05. Good to be 105. Good to be 10. Good to be 110. 15. Good to be 110. 15. Good to be 110. 15. And 10 and 15 here. 110. Good to get 15 here. Sold 110. Put up on Ricardo. 110. 5-year-old cow, 135, and 35, and 35, and 37, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, 50, and 30, big 7, good to be 37, 40, then 2 and a half, big 2 and a half, 5, 45, 47, and now 50, and now 2 and a half, big 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 57, and a half, 57, good to be 60, big 62 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, 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 7 and a half here, Bo, 165, 5. Not an open, not a bid, 105, and 105 here, good to be 105, big 5, big 5, big 5, big 5, big 5, and 10, good to be 110, 15, 25, and 25, and 30, big 30, 30, good to be 30, big 30, big 30, big 30, good to be 30, 30 here, Cavness, 125, nothing. Steer time right there, your daughter. Daughter 5, and 105 here, good to 105, big 5, big 5, big 5, big 5, big 5, big 5, another Mexicano, 105, 105, and daughter 5, and daughter 5, big 5, big 5, big 5, big 5, that's your daughter, 105, 105, 105, 10, 110, 15, 115, 20, 120, and 25, and 25 and 5 here, top 30, and 30, big 30, good to be 25, big 30, 25, big 30, 25, big 30, 125, 30 here at DO, 125. Yeah. Eight by 6 plus. 125, 125, 125, 30, and now 35, 40, 140, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, and now 45, 50, $1, 50, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55 here, 55, 55, 60, 160, it's down 60, it's 60 there, 5, 60, 5, it'll get 60, and tone, 155. Way here, 125, and 25, and 25, 27, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, and 7, 50, and 27, 30, and 32 and a half, 2 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, 37 to 40, and 40, 2 and a half, and 42 and a half, 45, 45, 45, 47 and a half, and 47 and a half, 7, 50, 50, 50, 150, 2 and a half, and 50, 2 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, and 55 and 5 here, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 here, D, 152 and a half, 2. 155, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 57, going to be 60, we get 2.5, 5, 2.5, 2.5, 62.5, and 5, as you get 5, as you get 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.70, and half 72.5, 72.5, 72.50, and 70, we get 2.5, going to be 70, we get 2.5, S, 170, 21.
Hey, come on, coach, now. It's a weight now, 10 kilos.
125, and 25, and 25, 30, and 25, we get 30, 25, we get 30, 25, we get 30, 25, we get 30, 25, now 30, and 25, 32 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 35, 35, 35 here, 35, 35, top row, you're at 37, 50, and 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 40, and half, 40, 40, 40, we get 42 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 250, 42 and a half here, cabinets, 140. Six-year-old here, 55, 55, 57, 57, 7, 60, down 2 and a half, we get 2 and a 5, as you get 5, 7 and a half, 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 7 and 70, and half 70, we get 2 and a half, 72 and a half, 75, and 75, 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 77 and a half here, S, 175, 2-1. Fifty-five, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 57, 50, 60, and hand 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a 5, and now 5 here, 5 here, as 62 and a half, 2. Ten and upon here, not a bid, 105, 105, we get 5, 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 now 5 here, 105, we get 5, 105, 110, 15, 115, 20, and 20 pound, 20, group 20, group 20, group 20 pound, 20 pound, 22 and a half, 22 and a half, and 20, we get 2 and a half, group 22 and a half, cabinets, 120. Nine years, she's 5 months bred. 135, and 35, 35, 40, and 35, 40, 40, 40, we get 40, we get 42 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 50, and 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 60, and down 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 250, and we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, going to be 2 and a 5, and we get Chris, 62 and a half, 16X, nope, 10, Chris 10, 16X. 7 by 7, 155, and 55, and 55, 57, 50, and 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 57 and a half, and 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, $60, $60 sold, 157 and a half, Krivonic. $225, $225, and $225, and $225, $225, and $225, we get $225, we get $225, we get $225, 30, and $30, $225, and $30, we get $30, group 30, we get $30, group 30, we get $35, $35, $35, 40, and $45, we get $45, $50, and $55, $50, we get $250, $50, we get $50, we get $50, and $50 here, sold her, $245, Chris, 7X. 10 years old here, 25. He 27.50 and 27 going to be 32 and a half, 35, 37 and a half, 45, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47.50 and half 50 and half 55, 50, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 5 and 55, 57 and a half, 57 and 60 and 57 going to be 60 bid here, 60 here sold 157.50. Chris 21. Not a bid, 105, and 105 here, could be 105, 5, 10, could be 110, 15, 20, and 25, 25, 30, 35, 35, 40, 140, 140, 140, 140, 7.5, and 37.50, and 37.40, and half 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, D, 137.5, 1X. $2, 210.20, 210.20, and 210.20, 210.20, 210.20, 210.20, 30, and 30, 40, 40, 50, 250, 260, 260, 250, 60, and 260, 55, 65, and 65, 65, 70, 275, 275, 275, 80, and 280, give 80 here, 80, 80, sold, 275 by 1. Nine years, she's 6 months bred. $1.50. $1.52 and a half, 52 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 and a half, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 to 16 pounds, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 62 and a half, Brad, yeah, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 55 here, D, 162 and a half, 2. $135, 35, 35, 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 47 and a half, 45, 50, and 2 and a half, 52 and a half, 5, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, going to be 60, £1.60, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70 now, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72, 55, and 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, S, 172 and a half, 5. 10 years, she's 5 months, 130. 132 and a half, 32 and a half, 32 and a half, 32 and a half, 32 and a half, going to be 32 and a half, 32 and a half, 35, and 37 and a half, 37 and a half, 40 and a half, 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 45, 47 and 50, and 47 and a half, 50, and half, 50, 50, 50, 10, 52 and a half, 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 D, 150, on 2. Not a bid, 105, and 105 here, go to 105, 105, and down 10, 110, 15, 20, and 25, 25, 25 here, 25 here, 25, 25, 22 and a half, 5, and 25, 7 and a half, and 27 and a half, 7 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 and a half, I did that, 27.50, and 27 and a half, 7 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 and a half, sold, 125, S1. I hear baby cavies. Baby cavies. Baby cavies. 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 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 and 60, and now 62 and a half, 2.5, and 65, and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and 70, 70, now 70, 172 and a half, and 70, 2 and a half, going to be 72, 5, and 75, 75, 75, 75, 75 here, Chris, 172 and a half, 10. $2 years young, $2, 210, 20. And 210, 20, we get 210, 20, we get 210, 20, we get 210, 20, outside, 220, 30, and 30, 30, 30, we get 30, we get 30, we get 35, 35, 40, and half 40, we get 40, and half 5, 45, 45, 245, and 45 here, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, bow, 241. Seven years old. She's 6 months. 120. 125, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 35, 35, 40, 145, 145, 145, 145, 50, $1.55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, and now 65, and 65, 70, 175, 75, 80 here, 85, 80, 90 here, 195, 95, 2, and 2, and 95, 2, 95, 2, 95, 2, Chris, 195, 55. You done? She's got a little red eye. Daughter. Daughter 5, and 105 here, good 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 105, and 105, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 105, good to be 105, good to be 105, good to be 105, 5. Doug, $1, 5X, or just 5? Doug 5. 45, and 45, 47, and 50, and 47, and 7, and 7, and 50, and 52, and 52, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, and 57, and 60, now 62, and 5, and 65, and 65, 7, and 7, and 70, 70, 72, and 75, and 75 here, 75, 75, 50, and 77, and here, going to be 77, and going to be 77, and here, S, 175, 5. Three years, she's 5 months bred, 3,000. 3,100, and 31, 31, 31, 31, 31, 3,100, here, 1, here, 1, here, 1, here, going to be 3,100, and 3,100, here, 1, 2, 3, and 33, 33, 33, 34, and 33, 34, 33, 5, and 35, 35, 35, 3,500, here, 505, here, 5, sold, 3,400, Chris 3. Weigh the cow, 135, and 35, 35, 35, 37, 50, and 37, 40, and 40, and 2, and 2, and 5, and 45, 45, 45, 47, 7, here, sold 145, Cavaniss. $3, now 5, and 33, we get the 3, and 300, now 300, we get the 3, and 300, we get the 3, 275.80, and 75, 80, 75, 80, 75, 80, 75, 80, as 85, 85, 85, 90, we get 290, 290, 290, 85, 90, 95, we get 95, 93, and 95, we get 3, and 95, we get 3, to Chris, 295, 7X. $0.30 a pound, 35, and 35, you get about 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35, plain old 35, and 35, and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35, 35, 35, 35, S1, 30 cents a pound. Buck 35, and 35, you get about 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35, you get 35, 37.50, and 37, 7 and a half, 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 D, 135, 1X. $110, $12.50, 10, 12 to buy, I'm going to be 10 and 12 to buy, I'm going to be 10 and 12 to buy, I'm going to be 10 and 12 to buy, I'm going to be 110, 12 to buy, I'm going to be 110, 12 to buy, I'm going to be 110, 12 to buy, I'm going to be 10, 12.50, and 10, 12.50, and 10, 12 to buy, I'm going to be 10 and 12 to buy, I'm going to be 110, 12 and a half here at Cavness, 110, nothing, 110, Cavness.
Did you have a Bloody Bell mat? Right under there? Okay.
Hey, you're going to sell them this week?
Forgot last week.
Oh, I know. 125 and 125 and 27.50 and 27 7 and a half 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 7.50 and 30 and 32 and a half we get 2 and a half 32 and a half we get 2.5 and 35 35 35 3.5 and 33 we get 5 33 we get 5 33 we get 5 37 and 37 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 35 7 and 35 could be $7 could be 7 could be 7 could be 7 here at Cavness 135 nothing. They're young and they're short bred guys. $2 a pound, 210.20, and 210.20, and 210.20. We get 210.20. We get 210.20. We get 210.20, 30, and 30, 40, 240, 50, 250, 260, 270, 280, 280, and 275, and 75, 75, 75, 75, 275, and 275, 80, and 280 here, 85 here, 85, 285, and 285 here, 85 here, 85, 85, sold 280. Put them on Chris 3, 280, Chris 3. Coming up with our second calf, is that right? These are 3-year-olds. Must be just one of the open, short bred maybe. 250. 255, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 260, 55, 60, and 265, and 70, 275, 275, 275, 275, and 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, go to 275, 275 here, so about 270, Chris, 3X. Thank you, Terry. Big one's here at 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, and 55, 57 and a half, 7 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 and 60, and now 60, gonna get 60, gonna get 60, gonna get 60, gonna be 62 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, and 5, and 5, 65, and 5 on 5 here, 5 on 5 here, 5 here, Chris, 162 and a half on 10. Who does? Is that it? Go get her, Rob.
Yeah.
10-year-old cows are 5 and 7 months bred. $1.50. $1.52 and a half, and 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, now 2 and a half, 52.50, and 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 52 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 60, and now 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 62 and a half, 5, and 65, and 65, Carvonic, 162 and a half. Familia. 5-year-old family. 5,000, 5, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 4, 4,100, and 41, and 40 now 100 here, 4,100 here, 4,100 here, 1, and 4,100 here, 41, 41, 41, 2, and 41, 2, and 41, 2, 41, 2, 41, 200 here, 41, 2, and 41, 2, 41, 200 here, 41, 200 here, 241, 2, sold. 4,100. Ricardo, 2. Goodbye. I can't help it either. How old is this pair, Ricardo? 9-year-old. 9-year-old. I'm going to weigh the cow, guys. I'm going to sell you the cow. 125 and 125, 750 and 25, 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 30, now 32 and a half, 32 and a half, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35. Doug, you're at 35 and 35 and 37 and a half, 7 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 and 40, another 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, going to be 40, Gibbon, 137 and a half. We're going to try to hold it in here. $5 a pound. 510. If I 10 a pound here, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. If 5 here, 5 here. Terry, what did you get? 450. $4 a pound. $4 a pound. PO, I'm selling tomorrow then. You don't get them. No chance. Not at any price. Be here tomorrow. Bring $8 tomorrow. You got some coming? We're going to reach a bottom one of these days. We're getting closer. Let's not talk about the zeros.
How about the November the 1st, we start changing.
Yeah. Zeros. 125, yeah, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 30, and 25, 30, 25, 31, 25, 30, 30, 30, and 25, 30, 25, 35, 35, 40, 40, 45, 45, 45, 50, and 50, 50, 50, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, and 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, here, S, 145, 9. $1.50. $1.55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, could be 70, 55, could be 80 now, 81, 81, 85, 85, 90, 195, and 95, 2, and 95, 2, now 5, here, 10, and 210 a pound, could be 210, 10, 15, 15, 20, and 225, 25, 225, and 225 here, 5, 55 here, both, 229. They gotten cheaper too. Mm-hmm. 75, yeah, 75, 50, and 77 hands, 77 hands, 77 hands, 77 hands, 75, 750, and 77 hands, 77 hands, 77 hands, 77 hands, 65, and 65, 65, 65, 7 hands, 7 hands, 70, now 70, now see what I have, 72 and a half, 72, 50, and 70, 2 and a half, going to be 72, 5, and 75, 50, 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 80, and now 80 there, 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, 80, 85 here, 80, 85 here, Cabinet Bull, 182 and a half. Where is it? They sending it back around? $2, 2 and a half, and $2, 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, 205, we get 5, now 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 10, 210, 210, 210, 1250, and 212 and a half, going to be 15, and 15 now 15, going to be 13, going to be 15, going to be 17, now 17, now 17, going to be 217, and 17, 17, 17, 16, 17, 18, 18, 19, going to be 219, 20, and 19, going to be 20, going to be 20, now 1, and 21, 22, 22, 23, we get 3, 23, we get 3, going to be 23, we get 3, going to be 23, we get 3 here, sort of a 222 S 61. $2, 2 and a half, and $2, 2 and a half, we get 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 2 and a half, go to 2, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half here, but 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and now 5, we get 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 5 here, S 202 and a half, 61. $55 and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, dollar bill, $105, and $105, and $105, we get 5, we get 5, we get 5, 10, could be 110, 120, we get 30, we get 30, 120, 30, and 30, 40, and 140, 140, 140, 140, and 30, 40, now 40, now 40, here, 40, now 40, 40, sold, 130, yes, 1. $185, pretty good, nice bull, guys. $185, $85, $87, $50, $87, could be $87, $7, $7, $7, $7, $7, $7, $7, $87, $50, $90, and down $90, we get $2.5, $95, and $95, $95, $95, $750, and $97, could be $2, could be $2, now $2, could be $2, we get $2, could be $2, we get $2, and $97, could be $2, now $2, we get $2, here S, $197.5, 61X. Nice bull.
I wouldn't answer.
75, and 75 here, 75, 50, and 77 and a half, 83, agree with 2.5, 85, 85, 87, 5, 87, 5, 87, 5, 90, and 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, 5, and 95, 97 and 97 and 7 and 7 and now 2, and down 2, agree with 2, and down 2, agree with 2, we get 2, agree with 2, we get 2, agree with 2, we get 2, here's all 197 and a half, Doug 7.
No. Huh?
225, 230, and 25, 30, 225, 30, 225, and 35, and 35, 40, we get 45, 45, 50, 50, 50, 55, and 55, 60, we get 265, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, we get now 5 here, Bo, 269.
That's why I need to call my show steer.
Two ten, and 210 a pound, 210 a pound, 210, 210, 210, 210, 210, 210, and now 210, we get 210, we get 2, 750, and 7, 7, 7, 10, 210, 11, and 210, 11, 210, 11, 11, 210, 11, we get 211, we get 211, and 210, 11, we get 211 here, so about 210, S61.
My hands broke. Knees busted up. Arms broke. These 3 fingertips off. Bolt out everywhere.
Two 10, 11, I know it. 210, 11, and 210, 11, 12, and 12 and 14, we get 14, good to be 16, good to be 18, 18, 16, 18, 18, 20, and now 20, good to be 20, and 20, and now 20, 220, 18, 20, 18, 20 here, 18, 20 here, so about 218, Gibbon Bull. One 85 here, could be 85, 85, 85, 87, 5, 87, 5, could be 90, we get 2.5, 2.5, 5, and 95, 95, 95, 95, 95, 95 here, 195 here, 195, Bo, 192.5, 9. 125. 25 and 25, 25, 25 here. 25, 30 and 25, 30, 30, 25, 30, Doug, 35 and 35, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 50. Another 50 there. 145, 55, 55, 55, 60 and now 60, 65 and 65, 70, 170, 70, 70, 75, 175, 175. Yes, 75 here. 175 5 here. So 170 cabinets, bull 9. Steer 250.
Who? It is?
250. 255, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 255, and 55, 5 here, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 260, 265, and 70, 270, 275, and 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, bow 279. $1.50. $1.55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57, 57, 7, 60, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 70, 172 and a half, 72 and a half, 75, and 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 77, 50, and 77, give a half here, 77 and a half here, 77 and a half here, so 175 cabinets, bull. $185, 85 there, group 85, 87, group 92 and a half, 92 and a half, 95, 95, 97, 97, group 2, 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, 5, and now 5, 5, 205, 205, 2 and a half, 205, 2 and a half, now 5, 7 and a half, 210, 210, 12 and a half, sold, 210, Caldwell? Is that right? Right behind you, Rob? Not Caldwell. L4? L4. Thank you, guys. $175, 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, going to be 65, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 57, 57, 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 5, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 65, 7 and a half, now 7 and a half, now 7 and a half, now 750, Robbie out, and now 70, and 70, 70, 70, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 5, and 75, 75, 73, 73, 73, 75, 73, 75, 73, 75, and 75, 7, and 77, 77, 77, 77, 77 here now 9. Sold 177, Doug 7. $2, 2 and a half, and $2, 2 and a half, 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 2 and a half here, going to be 2 and a half, and 2 and a half, 2 and a half, 2 and a half here, half here, 5, and now 5, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 750, and 7 and a half, 6, 7, and 7 and a half, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 9, going to be 209, going to be 209, going to be 209 here, Doug, 208, put on number 7. $2, 2.5, and $2, 2.5, $2, 2.5, $2, 2.5, $2, 2.5, $2, 2.5, $2, 202.50, and $2, 2.5, $2, 2.5, $2.5, 85, 85, 85, 87, $2, 87, $2, 90, $2, 2.5, 92.5, and 95, 97.50, and 97, 97.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, sold 195 S61.
Never know these days. I'm not gonna find out. I've seen men wear that too.
$175, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, get 5, 75, hit 5, and 75 here, 5 here, down 5, 75, 750, and 77 and a half, 77 and a half, 77 and a half here, 77.50, and 77 and a half here, 77 and a half, 80, and now 85, 85 and 90, 190, 195, and 95 to get 2, and 95 to get 2, 195 to get 2, 195 to 2, Chris, 195, 9. You leaving, Rob? $1.55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 60, 55, 65, 65, 70, 170, 170, 170, and 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, down 2.5, 76, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, 72 and a half, got me all messed up, 5, and 75, 50, and 77, 80, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85, 85 here, 85 here, 85 here, 180, on 9. Yeah. He was $2. 2.5, and 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, we get 2.5, go to 2.5, go to 250, now 5, and 2.5, we get 5, now 5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 750, and now 10, and 210, we get 210, tag number 210, tag number 210, 8, 9, and now 9, go to 9, we get 9, go to 9, 10, go to 9, 10, we get 9, 10, go to 9, 10, 210, and 9, 10, here, 10, 10, 10, here, go to 2, 9, 10, S, 209, 61.
That was his bull.
$225, and $225, and 25, 25, 25, 30, and 25, 30, we get 2, 30, we get 2, 30, we get 2, 35, 35, 40, and 45, 45, 45, 50, and 55, 55, 55, 60, we get 2, 65, we get 2, 70, 270, and 5, 70, 5, we get 70, we get 70, we get 70 here on tone, 265. $165, and 65, and 65, 65, 65, 65, 55, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 57 and a half, 57 and a half, going to be 62 and a half, 2 and a half, 25, and 65, 7 and a half, 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 70 and a half, 70, and held 2 and a half, 75, and 75, 750, and 77 and a half, dug your ass, 77, 80, and now 80 there, 180, 180, 180 here, 2 and a half, 82 and a half, going to be 2 and a 5, 85 here, 3, 5 here, 83, 85 here, 83, 85 here, 4, 5, 85 here, 85, 5 here, shot 184, Doug 7. 225 and 225 and 25, 25, 25, 225 and 5 here, 5 here, 205 and 205, 5 and 5 here, 5, 10, 210, 215, 20 and now 20, 225 and 225 and 30, 235 and 35, 35, 5 here, 5 here, 9, 230. $175, here's 75, here's 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, and 75 here, 75, 75, 75, 50, and 77, hands down, 83, 85, 85, 85, 85, and 90, and 90 here, 190 here, 190, 190, 190 here, 185, 9. One-year-old, she's 3 months bred, $2 a pound, 210.20, and 210.20, we get 210.20, we get 210.20 here, a bit of a 210.20 here, 210.20, and 210.20 here, 210.20, good to be 20, good to be 20, good to be 20, bit of a 20, and now 30, we get 230, we get 230, good to be 220, 30, Antone, you're out, 230, 40, 240, you got her, 230, Antone. $125 and $125. Could be 125, 25, 25, 25, 5 here, 125, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 15, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17 and a half, 17, 50, and now 20, we get 22 and a half, we get 2 and a half, and 25, and 27 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 50, and 27 and a half, could be 27 and a half here, now 7 and a half here, cabinets, 125. Uh-oh. 10 cents a pound. 20 cents a pound. 20 cents a pound. 20. You're out. 30. 40. 50. 60. Take 55. Half 100 goes to S1.
Clay, they broke the gate. The welder's out there working.
9 years, she's 3 months. Not a bid. 105 and 105 and 105. We get 5, we get 5 and 10. Good to be 110, 15. Good to be 20, not 5 and 25, 30. We get 35, 35, 35, 35, 35 over here. 40, 35 and 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, 40 and another 45. We get 45, we get 45, we get 45, we get 45, we get 45 here. Chris, 140 on 55. 4-year-old. She's 3 months bred, guys. 1,500. 15 and a half, 15 and a half here, 16, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 2, and 2,000 here, 1, 21, 21, 21, 21, 21, 22, and 22, and 23, 3, and 23, 4, and 24, 5, and 2,500 here, 5 here, 5, 500 here, 5, 25, and 2,500 here, Chris, 2,400, 3. Three and open, 2 ought to be 210 20, and 210 20, we get 210 20, 210 20, going to be 20, we get 30, going to be 30, 5, and 35 40, we get 245, going to be 245 50, and 55 55 55 55 60, and 265 265 70, and half 70, we get 270, we get 270, going to be 5, we get 70, Chris, 265 3x.
About 130.
What?
130.
Oh, God, it's awesome, kid.
Yeah, she might be a woman. Did you hear me? She might be a woman.
Timber 2, 125, yeah, 25, and 25, 25, 25, 25, 30, and 25, we get 30, 25, we get 30, 25, we get 35, 35, 40, 145, 145, 50, and 5, and 55, 60, 160, 160, 160, and 55, 60, 5, we get 60, here, Chris, 21, 155. One 35, and 35, you go out 35, 35, 35, 35, 35, we get 35, we get 35, 37, 50, and 30, we get 7 and a half, 7 40, then 42 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 45, 47 and a half, 50, we get 50, then 2 and a half, we get 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 250, and 52 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half here, 2 and a half here, so 150, Chris, 2-1. 9 years, she's 5 months bred, 135, and 35, you go out 35, 35, 37 and a half, and 37 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 40, and 42 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 45, 45 here, 47, 50, 50, $1.50 there, 2 and a half, 52 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 57 and a half, 7 and a half, 7 and 60, we get 60, we get 60, and 57 and a half, going to be 60 bed here, going to be 60, we get 60, we get 60 here, 60, and 60, 157 and a half, 7. 135, and 35, you go out 35, 37 and a half, 7 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 and a half, 7, 15 and a half, 40, and 40, we get 2 and a half, 42 and a half, 45, 45, 47, 50, and 47 and a half, 50, and half 50, we get 50, we get 50, we get 50, we get 52 and a half, we get 2 and a half, we get 2 and a half, 5, and 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, D, 52 and a half, 2.
We got a cow sale next week. We have a sale next week.
Not till the week after. But
Oh, the week after.
20 cents a pound. 20 cents a pound. Who bid? 30. 30 cents a pound. 20 cents goes to S1, X.
We got a sale next Monday, then the week after that we don't. Right?
no sale on Monday, but we might sell cows Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Jason, your brother was thinking. I guess.
You cow buyers are free to go. Thank y'all for being here today. We'll do it again next Monday. Then after that, we don't have a sale that September, the first Monday, September. I'll sell choice, whatever y'all want to do. Who's selling this sale, Lydia? You want to sell these calves? You mean go clerk? I'll come clerk. Here, Lydia wants to sell these baby calves. 500. Sell choice. 550. 550, 600, 650, and 6.5, 6, 7, and 7, and 7, and 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7, 800, 8.5, 900, 9, and 900, 900, 875, 900, 9.25, 9.25, 925, 50, and 9.5, 75, and 975, 975, 975, 975, 975, 10, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, sold 975. Billy, 2. Takes them all. You lucky.
Billy's got them big orders.
Yeah. You write them down.
I got it.
Yeah, next Monday, yeah. See. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Tomorrow. Huh? Tomorrow.
A pound?
You get $5 a pound for her? $500, $550, 5.5 here, 5.5, group 600.5, 6.5, 7, and 750, 7.5, 800 here, 8.25, 8.5, 75, 875, 9, and 9.25, and 9.25, 9.5, 950, and 975, and 975, 975, 975, 975, 975. I'm with Chris now at 950, 975, 975, 975. You're out, Billy. 975, 10, quarter. 1,000, Chris O. Two of them, huh? 500, 550, 5.5 here, 5.5, group 600.5, 6.5, group 7, group 15, high, 9.25, and 50, and 950, 950, 950, and 950, 950, 950, 950, 9.5, and 9.5 here, 50, 50, 50, 9.5 here, so 925, Billy, 2. For his. Will you sell better tomorrow with Peyton here and Pope?
I would think so. There's a little white one.
Time tomorrow. 500, 550, 5.5 here, 650, and 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 700, 700, 700, 750, and 7, 800 here, 8 and a quarter, 8 and a half, 75, 9, and 909, 870, internet's out, 900, and 75, 900, 900, 900, internet's out, 900, 875, 900, 900, 900, 900, 900, go to 900 here, Solder, 875, Billy 2. Billy straight. Bring 300 tomorrow. 300.
$15.
550, 5.5 here, 5.5, 600 and half, 7, and 7, 7.5, 800, 8.5, 8.5, 900 and a half, 9.5, going to be 1,050, and 10 and a half, 10, 11, 1,100, 1,100, 1,100, 1,100, 10 and a half, 11, 1,100, going to be 10 and a half, 1,100 here, Chris, 1050. $350, 3.5, 400, 4, and 4.5, and 4.5, to get 4.5, 4.5, to get 500, 550, 550, 75, 75, 600, a quarter, 600, a quarter, 6.5, 75, now 7, and 7, 7, a quarter, 7, a quarter, 7, a quarter, 7, a quarter, 7.5, 75, 800, 8 and a quarter, 25, 50, 75, 9, and 900 a quarter, and 9 and a quarter, to get 950, 950, 950, 950, and 950, 50, 75, 975, 975, 975, 10, 1,000, to get 1,000, to get 1,000, quarter, and 10, 25 here, going to be 10 a quarter. Going to be 10, 25 here, 10, 25 here. Chris Ho, 1,000. Catch him any calves? Didn't see. Well, at least we're not going to a 2-day cow sale like you. 500, 550, and 550, and 550, 550, 550, 550, 555, 50, 600, 600, 600, and 5 6, and 5 6.5, 6.5, 75, 7, and 7 a quarter, 7 a quarter, 7 a quarter and a half, 7 and a half, 75, 7, 75, 7, 800, 8 and a quarter, 850, 875, 875, Kelsey, 850, Kelsey, 850. Thank you, guys. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the a.m. Y'all have a good rest of your afternoon. See you guys tomorrow.